Well, hello, everybody. I'm Yana Latoy, the author and personal mentor for yanalatoy.com. I interview powerful female online coaches, authors, and entrepreneurs to showcase the leaders in the field that you might not be aware of that can partner with you to get you to your next level in life. So today I'm talking to Lisa Balthaser, business coach and consultant for Fleur de Lisa Solutions. So Lisa is, Lisa is also a marketing automation expert and uses her 2 marketing degrees, her years of experience, and her partnership with an automation company to help her clients grow and scale their businesses online to create systems and processes that free up her clients, to get the results and help the clients scale into 6 figures or more by creating consistent revenue. So Lisa is passionate about giving women the tools they need to be successful online. So I'm just going to open up the floor. Lisa, a warm welcome to you today. Tell us a bit more about who Lisa Balthaser is, what you do, and how you provide value.
Yes. So my name is Lisa Balthaser. I'm a business coach, consultant, and automation expert. And I help female entrepreneurs grow and scale their businesses online, create repeat revenue so that they don't have to worry about where their money is coming from, because it's all about having that repeat revenue so you know exactly where your dollars are coming from. You don't need to scramble. And that's what I help people with by helping them to put systems in place so that they can free up their time and have a little bit of ease and flow.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm so looking forward to getting a little bit more out of you and to just, showcase you to my audience, because I know a lot of my audience are women and women that want to be entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs. So I think they're going to find a lot of value from what you're going to share with us today. So if you are watching, you can go ahead and tell us in the comments below whether you where you're watching from, and if you are on the replay, just drop a hashtag replay. Because I will be keeping an eye on the comments. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type them below. And if we don't get to answering them, we will definitely get back to you after the interview. So Lisa, how do you juggle your work-life balance? What kind of routines and structures do you have in place to keep you optimized?
Well, believe it or not, I have a very regimented schedule, and this was not always the case. And that's what I want people to understand. When I first started my business, I did not have a schedule, and it was really hard because I was used to going to a job where I had a schedule. So getting on a schedule for myself at home took a little bit of discipline, and it really, what I found in business is your business does actually take discipline, and it takes dedication and commitment and discipline, those 3 things together. And so I have a schedule. I get up every day at 6:30 a.m. I am starting work by 7 a.m. and I have a whole bunch of things that I get done before 11 a.m. because what I also found from working at home, and I never knew this when I was in corporate, I found that the best time of day for me is 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So that is when I do the bulk of my work. I am not good in the afternoons, and I always knew that, but I never knew what my good time of day was until I had to prove it to myself.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's very important to know when your most productive time is in the day, so that you can push on the big projects and the stuff that you procrastinate on. Because that's what it's hard when you have so many tasks. You need to prioritize and realize which of the things are, which of the things is urgent and important and all of those things, and then just jump in and get them done early in the day so that they don't keep clogging up your schedule. Yeah.
Right. If I wait till afternoons, my brain just does not process the same. So sad.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So in the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has mostly improved your life?
Okay, that's a great question. There's probably a lot of them. When I first started my business, I questioned everything. However, back when I started my business, it was a lot easier to get clients because there were so many people that needed help. And this is how my business started, actually. I was running into people that needed help. And I have always been a person, I'm not afraid to push buttons. I'm not afraid to come online and see what this does. And what I found were a lot of women that were my age or older, and I'm older than I look, by the way. A lot of women that were my age or older, they were afraid to push the buttons to see what things did. They were afraid they would break it and they'd never get it back. And I actually first started by helping people build websites and blog and, the on-page SEO and that kind of thing. And I loved helping women get started with their businesses. And that's really where my business came from. And the joy of actually seeing the aha moments for them made my day. So for me, the belief is, as I moved on in my business and my business changed, I was challenged by imposter syndrome. Because what I did was I took my done for you business and converted it into a coaching business. So when that happened, I had all kinds of false beliefs about my capabilities. And here's the thing. I have 2 college degrees in marketing. I have over a decade of expertise in marketing and online marketing. So I was second guessing myself. And I was always thinking that I didn't know enough. Here's the thing with knowing enough, that a lot of people tell themselves they don't know enough. But the fact of the matter is you only need to know a little bit more than the people that you're helping. And then you always improve yourself. So you're always one step ahead of them, helping them along with the things that you have learned. So, I would definitely say that the imposter syndrome was huge for me. It still comes back. I can't lie and say, oh, it doesn't ever happen. I think it happens to the best of people. I think it happens to just about everybody at some point. It's just a matter of keeping that little beast tamed with your beliefs about yourself. And one of the things that I know you're a Christian.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have used to help me to keep that centered in my life is my belief in God, because really he tells us who we are and the world does not. So once we really get that implanted in our brains, we can know that and go out with confidence into the world and do what it is that we are really supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Something that you said in the beginning about that there was a need, that people were looking for your services, I think is a very important business principle, for, especially for our entrepreneurs listening that are just starting out. If you try to fulfill your needs of what you want to offer, but you're not looking at the market and you're not looking at what do people actually need, because you may have a need to share information, or you may have a need to coach someone, but you need to have a look at what does the market need. Because just taking a quick example, when you write books, writing a book about you and your life, is that something that people need? Is that something people are Googling or looking for? Because I think a lot of our newbie entrepreneurs get trapped in that they don't look at what the market wants, and then they fail because there's no need for the stuff that they're supplying. And the second thing that's very important that I picked up while you were talking is that you had all this expertise and you were like mastering your field with 2 marketing degrees and all of these expertise and stuff like that. And when you started your online business, you had to learn some more skills and some new skills. And for entrepreneurs that are transitioning from a full-time job to being online entrepreneurs or having this luscious laptop lifestyle everyone is advertising. I think we when we start out, we're in for a rude awakening, because you do have a lot of transferable skills, but there is so much to learn. And then I'm sure I myself has felt that imposter syndrome, because even though you have all this experience and all this knowledge, you're still a newbie in the online space, for instance, and then you need to learn everything. But you need to all to learn. And like you said, don't be scared. Try the new thing. Press the buttons. Make a live. I know for me, 2 years ago, it was very hard making lives. So I just made a lot of lives and I got over it. And now it's not a problem for me. So, but everyone needs to get over that little hurdles.
We did the same thing, doing live video. You just mentioned something that is a sticking point for so many online entrepreneurs. We have to be visible and you have to do video these days. But going live it's not for the faint of heart. I started back with Periscope. Do you remember Periscope?
I don't even know about Periscope.
Oh, okay. So Periscope, it was when live video first started. And there were a lot of trolls. There would be all these trolls that would come on your videos and they would say things like, you're fat, you're stupid. And you're trying to concentrate on what you're saying.
I wouldn't have survived it.
I used to get off of my live videos and burst into tears. You know, when you're online, you have to keep it going. And but once I got off, it would just so frustrate. So I learned during that crazy, crazy time. And here's the thing with it, even though it's scary and it really is soul crushing when people are coming on and saying ugly things to you, you have to have that belief in yourself that you know what you're doing and just keep pushing forward. You can't let the people that are looking to sabotage what you do allow them to stop you in your tracks, and that's what I did. And I just kept going. So it's funny that you said that about live video, because I had my own. Live video is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with right now, because we're not used to showing ourselves and being a little bit vulnerable. You know, when you're working in an office environment, you always look professional, you're always dressed to the nines, you're always ready. But when you're working from home, for instance, things are not always the way it seems. You know, you may have a lot of messy laundry just around the corner, or the kids burst into the room when you're a mom and you're trying to be an entrepreneur and a mom all together. So life is messy and it's not all professional and all polished. And you need to learn to also overcome that and just let it go, just be yourself and be authentic. And that is also something, because we've got this persona that we are this kind of person at home, but at work we're something different. So being an entrepreneur, and especially working from home, you need to have that balance between who am I really and what am I showing? What is the brand that I'm trying to show to the world? So, it's a bit of a muddy waters that you need to tread through until you get your balance. But for me, I know in the beginning I was very nervous about my children making noises or someone opening a door or something like that. And now I just take it in my stride, even though I try to be as professional as I can. When life happens, it happens. So
I have
people tend to understand and they relate.
Yeah, I have a dog. So what he used to, I swear, every time I did a live video, he would go on a barking spree. Oh my gosh, how frustrating. And there's things at home that are just not controllable. And as much as you try, you just do what you can to be as professional as you can. But here's the thing about when things go wrong, you're human. And people connect with humans. I mean, if your kids come in the room or if the dog barks, there's nobody out there that cannot relate to something like that happening. So it actually does help to make you a little bit relatable too, even if it's not perfect and not what you want.
Yeah. Definitely. So Lisa, do you like reading or do you enjoy reading? And if you do, what is a book that has made a big impact in your life?
So last year, one of my mentors recommended a book, and I still didn't get through it, and I couldn't find it. But I remember the title, and the title is How You Do Anything is How You Do Everything. And that was recommended by one of my mentors and from one of her mentors. And when I went through this book, it's a little bit of tough love in the book. And it's kind of like set up like you read and then there's like work to do. It's sort of like set up like a workbook behind each chapter. And what I found was with that book, it really does point out how when you show up in life and how you do anything that you do really affects how you do everything else that you do also. So if you, for instance, you don't take something seriously, for instance, chances are there are other things in your life that you're not taking as seriously as you should. And it really kind of brought a few things to light with me, because sometimes you think that you can let some things in your life slack off. But when you do that, what are you really saying to yourself? You're saying that that thing is not important. It doesn't matter. So that bleeds over into other aspects of your life. So I think it's really important to always show up at your highest ability and really give everything that you do 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's that analogy about the two wolves and which one do you feed, because that eventually your choices become your character. So just showing up in every moment and not feeling guilt if you didn't show up well, but trying in every moment to show up as well as you can, so that you can build your character. I agree, definitely. So I'll definitely be taking a look at that book. I read about 100 to 150 books a year. So I'm a complete bookworm. But most of them is on audiobooks. So,
Okay.
so I listen while I drive. I listen while I do anything that doesn't require mental capacity. So,
Right.
so that's how I get to do that. Yeah. So when it comes to automation, what are some of the tools that you can recommend to that you do recommend to your clients that you can talk to us about today?
So one of the things that I help people with is automation. And in automation, I want to say I help people build systems and processes. I am a Keep certified partner. So Keep as a platform, as an app, is are you familiar with Keep?
I haven't heard of them. No.
Okay, Keep is the old Infusionsoft.
Oh,
And
okay.
it is really an all-in-one platform. And this is why I actually signed up as a partner with them. And I just want to tell you guys a little bit about it. And I know there's other platforms out there that have these things, but the things that I'm going to talk about with the automation are things that are super important to run your business. So with Keep, you have your call scheduler included. You have a private business number, so you don't have to use your cell phone or get a Google number. You have that number and you can actually text through it too. It's really nice. And you have the app on your phone. So when you're out and about, you have the capability of just scanning people's business cards. You don't even need to take the business cards and they go right into your contacts. It keeps your contacts in a CRM. You also have your email marketing in there, and your funnels and your landing pages and your call scheduler. And the thing that people don't utilize that I really in 2023 want to help people to utilize a little bit better is the pipelines. They actually have pipelines, and you can set up like sales pipelines. So however people come into your thing, you can run them through a pipeline. So it's kind of like a database of your people, and you can take them through an actual process and lead them to where you want them to go. And it's all super important. Now, if you don't have an all-in-one platform, I mean, there's so many great tools out there. You know, any of the major email marketing are really good. Like ConvertKit, I know is very good. There's a couple that are better. And I'm not going to say the name because I don't want, but I don't recommend the monkey. And it's because,
okay.
and you know what I'm talking about? Yes, it's because you don't have the capability of doing as much automation through there. And even though it's free, if you want to automate your business and get some of your time back, that's going to actually cost you time because you're not going to be able to do some of the things that you need to do. There's a lot of things that people can automate in their business that they don't realize, and such as some internal things that happen. And that's, you know, that's some of the things that I help people with. And if you don't have a platform like that, you can use something like Trello. I've used Trello and Asana before. Those are great for project management. And you can also use them to move people through a pipeline. You can set it up like that. And ClickUp is another one that I've used. So it whatever you like. And there's a lot of great all-in-one platforms, but I do want to caution people. And I've had this happen where people have come to me and asked me for help with some of the smaller all-in-one platforms that are trying to be what Keep is, but they're not. I had somebody come to me that had a list of like 14,000 people, and the platform that she was using, she wanted help with it because she was using a combination of MailChimp and this other platform. When she did an email blast that was time sensitive, it would only send out so many per hour. So when you have 14,000 emails, she told me it was taking 2 days for her emails. So she couldn't do anything that was time sensitive because they wouldn't get it. So that's why you really have to know what you're signing up for. There's a lot of great platforms. If you have a small database, those things may work for you. And there's a lot of really great ones out there. But I do recommend the one that I am partnered with only because of my personal experience with it. It has saved my life during a launch. I actually signed up in the middle of a launch. I know, crazy. But what happened was I did onboarding like really quick, and I knew what I needed to get onboarded were everything I needed for my launch. So I onboarded with them very, very fast, and I got a lot of things in place. Not everything, but just being with Keep saved my life, saved tons of time for me during my launch. Launches are exhausting. If you've ever done a live launch, which is a 5-day training, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of emails that go out. It's a lot of follow-up. It's a lot of training. And then, you have to send them the replays, and it's a lot. And I got a lot of things in place, and it was like night and day compared to my previous launch. So that's one of the reasons why I do recommend this so highly.
Yeah, I think it's important to know that when you've got a lot of different things and they don't really integrate with each other, and you can't migrate the information the way you need to, it wastes your time. And not only does it waste your time, it actually wastes your money, because now you're paying 7 different subscriptions and you're losing clients because you're not following up, because the system isn't reminding you, or you are losing out on your customer retention because you don't have reminders to do that. So I think when you have a system that's all in one, I think it just takes out the hassle of being an entrepreneur, because that could be really, really frustrating when you're sitting with an email list that you need to migrate and it doesn't want to migrate, or you want to, change things up and you're just struggling. Because I also was using the mail with a monkey, and I found it very difficult to do my campaigns.
Mhm.
It just frustrated me to no end. And when I just started out, it was near impossible for me to just do like a newsletter.
Yes.
It took me hours. So
Yes. I
I
was
just eventually
helping.
quit on it. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I was helping a client with that platform and
Mhm.
trying to set up a funnel with her. And I'm going to tell you,
It's a
funnels are
nightmare.
challenging to begin with. You don't need to make them harder. And that platform was probably the hardest platform I've ever tried to do a funnel on. And it's
Yeah,
crazy
it's not
because
very user friendly.
they promote it as being like the easy, the beginner, but when you really need to do something in it, it's not.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I mean, it's sometimes it's worth a couple dollars extra just to have something that is going to do what you need it to do when you need it.
I also want to ask with Keep, do they have what kind of payments integrations do they have? Do you know?
Yeah, you can integrate with Stripe and PayPal, I believe are the
Okay.
two. And I think there's another one, but
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
I
that's great.
use
Yeah, at
Stripe with
least
it.
Stripe and PayPal. Yeah.
Yeah, I use Stripe. I mean, I could use either, but whichever one you choose is the one that it goes to. So,
Mhm.
like, if you get upset with one of the companies, you can always change the
Yeah, yeah,
other
yeah. No, that's great. As long as you can get paid, for me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So, if you had to give a framework of what it means for you to have a successful business, and you had to paint like broad strokes or give us some broad categories, what categories would you put a business in, or what categories would you sort it into?
I'm not. Can you elaborate on that question?
Yeah, like for instance, if I look at my business, I know I've got sales, I've got marketing, I've got um, value delivery, stuff like that. So, what would the main chapters be in your business framework that you look at?
So, and this was not always the case for me. One of the things that I had to learn, because you start your business. If you're a new entrepreneur, you start your business, and you have to be visible online, and you have to post online. But what ends up happening for so many people is they end up wasting a lot of time posting online and trying to get visible online, and they don't really do some of the things that it's actually going to take to get a sale. All of those things are great, and they're all marketing. They're all awareness of your business, which is what marketing is. Marketing is really an awareness. But what you really do have to do is dig down and do some of the things that are actually going to bring in money, like talk to people. You have to have conversations. You have to be consistent with the things that you're doing. Um, if you're not talking to enough people, you're not going to get sales. It doesn't matter how much you post. It doesn't matter what you post. You can have the greatest post in the world and not have sales. I've seen it. I've experienced it myself. We've all been around the rodeo with our businesses. And um, if you're not taking the action steps that are going to actually bring in the sales, like scheduling calls with people, like reaching out to people, you cannot assume that sales are going to come to you. You have to reach out to other people for sales. And this does not mean you're spamming their inbox. Okay. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong, because when people spam my inbox, I ignore them. I
Yeah.
hate to say, but I do. I ignore them. And the reason I ignore them is because they haven't taken the time to say hello. They haven't taken the time to get to know what I really need. And they're just assuming that I need what they have, or they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
And either way, I don't want to work with that person because they're not taking the time to know me. And I think that's one in 2023 and going forward. I think that's one critical step that is going to be really necessary to get people to work with you. People are savvy these days. We had 3 years of online craziness where everybody came online. there's a lot of people online now. So people have a lot of people to choose from. There's a lot going on there. And if you don't take the time to actually care about the people that you want to work with, I think it's going to be really challenging to get the number of sales that you are looking for. You have to care. You have to really be an ethical business person and not just shove things down people's throats and say, oh, I have the best thing since sliced bread. You need to listen to them. You need to understand what it is that they need. And then that is what you need to talk to them about. It's not a cookie cutter.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when you've got a group and you just have this little group of people and you just keep creating content, and then you feel, that's some of the mistakes I made in the beginning, is just feeling like nobody listens or nobody's reading my stuff or nobody's commenting. So first of all, you need to realize that those are all vanity metrics. You can't for sure say or see how many people actually see your stuff unless you've got fantastic analytics things that you subscribe to. But the other thing is, like you said, Lisa, is we don't realize how many people we actually need to talk to make a sale. And then we keep talking to this stale group of 300 people, and we don't understand why we're not making a sale. But there's no new people coming in, and the old people has heard it all before, and you've pitched them and you've made proposals, making sales with them even before you've made a relationship. So they already have their fences up. They watching you, but from a distance. And as soon as you start reaching out, they like, back up. I'm scared of you. So it's like you're creating a little shark tank and you're throwing in some guppies, and those guppies know by now. So
yeah,
so
it's
first
funny.
of all, don't be a shark, is get to know the people, build relationships, and then don't make your fish pond stale. Add in new blood and let the people, the new people, see you
all the time. All the time. That's the thing. And if there's one thing that I learned from one of my mentors, and that mentor, if there's one thing that I learned from one of my mentors, is that you always need new people. You always have to be talking to new people every single day. That's one thing that she drilled home for me. And quite frankly, it was one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got, because sometimes we as entrepreneurs, we don't think through some of the things. So we're marketing to that group of 300 people, okay? And we're like, but we're not understanding why they're not buying it. But it's because we've been marketing to that same group of people. And we're
tired of it.
Sometimes we need somebody else to come in and say, what are you doing? You're marketing to these same people. They've already said they're not interested in that thing. So you need new people. And I think sometimes we get in our own way and we don't see these things. And that's why we all need mentors.
Yeah, definitely. That is a very important point. A mentor is someone that can see your blind side. And that is why I'm doing these interviews, because I want to introduce you to the people that can help you see your blind side. Because if you're going to sit there and try and do this all on your own, it's going to take you 10 years. But if you've got a mentor, you can do it in a year. So a mentor just takes your effort and your time and multiplies it. That's what a mentor does. They see what you do, they see your processes, and they look from a bird's eye perspective. They're not zoomed in the way you are. And they can tell you where you make your mistakes, and they can see it easily where you can't see it. So it's very important to have mentors, definitely. So Lisa, what makes the biggest difference from an entrepreneur that's broke to an entrepreneur that's finally successful? What would you say is the magic ingredient?
The magic ingredient, I don't know if there's just one, but but I think we just hit on a few of them. And if I were to say anything, that's the most important thing, is to be consistent and work on the money making activities first. Because if you're not making money, you're not going to be successful, or you're not going to feel successful. And that will affect everything else that you do. So if you're consistent and you're working on your money-making activities and working on getting that money coming in the door first, I know money is not everything. And for me, it's definitely not everything, but we do need money coming in the door in order for us to feel like we're making a difference in the world, in order, you know, and impacting people and helping people. So that's how, you know, you get paid for what you do, your expertise. And if you're not getting paid for your expertise, you're going to start feeling like you were just saying, like it's not worth it. Like, you know, what's going on? Is it, you know, are they even seeing? Do they even care? And that starts creeping in. So if you're focusing on the money-making activities and you start getting that money coming in the door, it's going to remove that, because you know you'll be making an impact with people.
Yeah, and it builds your confidence and just helps you like feel like you're actually doing something that's worth your while. Because I think in the beginning, if you're an entrepreneur and you're just doing stuff and you're hearing about all of these strategies, you're reading all of the books, and you're just trying this strategy, but you're not really implementing it for the long term. You're trying it for a while. Like this coach said, you need to do 5 lives a week. Now you're doing 5 lives a week, but you're only doing it for 2 months. And then you're like, oh, that's too much work. And then someone else says, no, you need to start a blog. So now you start your blog, and I've done that. I've got blogs. I'm an author, a published author on Amazon. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got all of those things, because that's what I used to do in the beginning. It's like this new shiny object syndrome where you get frustrated because you're not seeing results, because you're not consistent. And then you just try doing something else and you're not consistent with that either. So nothing is successful, and you keep trying new strategies when you simply just need to start being consistent.
And I think one of the things that you just said, it just hit me a little bit, because I think a lot of people do this, and I do see this a lot with people that come to me. People start working with someone and they don't stick with it. They'll give it a shot for like a little while, like you said, but they don't stick with it for the long haul. And then they jump to somebody else, and somebody else has a totally different approach. So what you're doing in your business is you're confusing your audience first and foremost, because you're all over the place, because you're changing up what you're doing every few months. And if you were to stick with, if you find somebody that you love and you stick with them for the long haul, you got to remember that you don't birth a baby overnight, so you don't grow a business overnight either. And that's what, you know, one of my programs is 12 months long, and I had people tell me it was too long and they wanted a shorter I shortened it. No, I put it back to 12 months. And here's why. You cannot build a successful business overnight. While some people may be able to do it in 6 months, most people cannot do it in 6 months. And for me to have a 6-month program and promise them to be able to reach 6 figures or just about 6 figures was just unrealistic for most people. And when you're thinking about your business, if you're not in it for the long haul, you really need to rethink it, because business, you know, and marketing, it's all a long game. It's not a short game. It doesn't happen overnight. And all those overnight stories that you hear took years to happen. Isn't it funny how that works?
That overnight successes, it's years in the making, definitely.
Exactly.
I think as a new entrepreneur, it's easy to drink the Kool-Aid and just, you know, believe what every second person that jumps on a live says to you. And if they say one thing that makes sense, you believe them and do everything they say. But firstly, look at what they have accomplished in their lives. And there's a thin line, because like you said as well, that someone just needs to be one step ahead of you to be able to help you. But on the other hand, you also need to look at mentors that are doing what you would like to be doing. So doesn't help to work with a broke business coach. So you need to. Well, I'm actually talking to myself because I've been an obese weight loss coach, and my clients lost a lot of weight, and I couldn't lose weight myself because I had the training, I had like athletic nutrition, all of those things, helped my clients perfectly, fantastically. They had great success. Couldn't help myself. So I felt inauthentic, and I quit that part of my business because I felt incongruent, because here I'm teaching other people stuff that I'm not mastering. So at the end of the day, look at your mentors and have some mentors. Don't do it on your own. It's hard already. So why would you go through the forest on your own? Get a guide. Yeah, definitely. So what are some quick action steps that your listeners can take to get a win, Lisa?
Well, I think it depends what people consider a win, but let's call a win a sale, okay? Just for the sake of this discussion. So some quick action steps to take to get a sale are to really listen to your audience, to be present with your audience, or other people's audiences, because you can do this in other Facebook groups. You just need to be able to identify properly the people that you can help and then have conversations with them. And if I were to recommend anything, it would be that, because when you're doing that, you're taking the action on the money-making activity. You're talking to people that need what you can help them with. And when you do that, you're going to get to that win or the sale quicker. And everybody wants the sale, but they're not doing what it takes to actually get the sale. They're just posting in groups, and they're posting on their platforms, and that's not going to bring a sale. It's the conversation. So get in those conversations.
I found that very interesting because from our faith perspective, we serve a triune God who is a community in himself. So if that doesn't give us a clue about how life works, I don't know, because we are created for community. We created for relationship. So one of the things that I teach my clients is that if you want abundance, you need relationship, because relationship creates that abundance, relationship with God and relationship with people. So that's what we're placed here on earth to do, is have that relationships with each other. So that's very interesting that is where the money lies as well, is having relationships. So interesting and definitely worth taking note of.
I love the duality of that. That was nice.
Yeah. So Lisa, describe your ideal client. Who are the people that you'd love to work with?
So I typically work with coaches, course creators, and online service providers. So anybody that has an online business, typically I work with female entrepreneurs also. I have worked with men in the past, but I do market to female entrepreneurs. And the reason I do that is because I really have a heart for lifting women up in this world. When I was in corporate, I was in male-dominated industries, and I was pushed down constantly. So one of my missions and visions for my business is to actually give women the tools that they need to succeed in the world, and feel like they're heard and taken seriously. Because I know, for me, it was very hard in corporate America because that did not happen. So a female entrepreneur who they have their business already. Maybe they're stuck. Maybe they don't know how to scale it properly or create recurring revenue. Those are things that I help people with, is to create that recurring revenue model so that they can have consistent income coming in month after month. They don't have to really worry about where their income is coming from, and they can build and scale into the six figures using that model. So that's typically what I'm looking for.
Okay, so if that's you listening, you need to get a hold of Lisa and have a conversation with her. and see whether you guys will be a great fit. And yeah, get some power behind you, get some mentoring, so that you don't go through another year of frustration. You know, an entrepreneur's journey is, it's like Lisa said, it's not a sprint. It is definitely a marathon. But if you want that marathon to be pleasant, and if you want to have the shortcuts and the water stations along the way, you definitely need to look at people that are going to help you along the way. So, Lisa, how can people connect with you?
You can actually you can look me up by my name. There's not very many people with my last name, so that's a good thing. I think there's one other person, maybe two, but yeah, so you can look me up by my name. My business is Fleur-de-Lisa Solutions, which to spell it here would just be insane. But if you look me up, you'll find it. I also do have a Facebook group where I help people with growing and scaling their business. And I do a live show every Thursday in there. Well, just about every Thursday, not every. This week I didn't because I was coming here. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this instead and promote this in there. So, so that's what I did.
Just share it from here. Yeah.
Typically, I do a live show every week with some kind of training regarding mindset, systems, processes, marketing, business growth, things like that. And I had what I wanted for my show today was stop spamming the inboxes. LinkedIn drives me bananas with that. But yeah, so you can just look me up. I have a professional profile, so it'll probably prompt you to follow me, but you can also request to be a friend with me. I think you have to hit the 3 dots for that. I'm not sure. Can't remember how that works, but somebody couldn't be a friend with me one time, and I was like, I don't know. You know, the professional profile, it's different, and I don't know.
Yeah, they chop and change it so much anyway. We can't even up. So so definitely get a hold of Lisa. You can also tag Lisa in the comments below if you've got a question about today's interview. I know that you found value listening to this interview, so tag someone that you know who needs to hear this, or even share this interview on your side, on your profile, so that we can reach the people that really need it. Somewhere out there, there's a woman, there's an entrepreneur that's stuck and she needs this help. So it would be of great help for you to share. Reach out to Lisa or myself if you've got any questions, or that if you want to find out what working together might look like. Lisa, I just want to thank you so very much for joining us today and for the value that you brought to this hour. I wish you all the blessings for the new year, and to all of our listeners as well. Yeah, I enjoyed the interview very much.
It was fantastic being here and getting to know you better also.
Yeah. It was great. So guys, you can keep an eye out for more interviews here on my personal page, or you can go to my YouTube channel, which is called Inspiro Freak by Jana de Toy, to get access to the playlist of all the interviews, and be sure to subscribe and catch all of the coming ones. So thanks so much for listening. Bye for now.